Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow the people of Ol Kalou will go to the polls to elect their new member of parliament. And the truth of the matter is that that by-election is going to determine the fate of President Ruto, and it's also going to determine the fate of Rigathi Gachagua. Allow me to ask you this question. Which party do you think is going to win there? Do you think UDA will defeat DCP party? Because UDA have done everything. They've spent billions. For the first time, we saw votes being distributed during a by-election. Rigathi Gachagua and his team are also saying that there is no way UDA will win in that by-election. For me, I want to put my bet on UDA. And for me, I want to put my bet on DCP. As a matter of fact, if I were to advise President Ruto, I would have advised him not to spend or overspend the way he did in Ol Kalou.
Kama unajua ulikuwa umelipa na
katika Kenya mamilioni ya watu hawana hii gas cylinders kwa manyumba yao. Wanatumia makaa, wanatumia kuni, wanatumia kerosene, paka moshi imekuwa shida kwa nyumba, uchafu imekuwa shida kwa nyumba, chakula hivi haraka. Sasa serikali ya rais wetu William Samoei Ruto imelete mpangilio ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba sisi tunatoka kwa matumizi ya kuni, kwa matumizi ya makaa, kwa matumizi ya mafuta taa, sasa kwenda kwa gas. Muko na bahati sana. Katika 47 counties, nyinyi mumekuwa wasita ya kupata hii gas.
But the truth of the matter is also that this by-election is a do or die for the president. And therefore, they have to do everything possible. Tomorrow, there will be attempt to rig that by-election. And I also know that Rigathi Gachagua and his team are also prepared to prevent the rigging.
Firstly, we have over 1,000 police officers deployed to ensure that the by-election is adequately covered. Number two, to break it down further, the 114 polling stations in Ol Kalou have adequately deployed with police officers going by the standard deployment procedures. This means that we have a minimum of 2 police officers per every polling station. Their work shall be to safeguard the voting materials, the voting process itself, while offering adequate security at each and every polling station, ensuring the electoral officials perform their duties well and unhindered. Additionally, there are alert standby teams deployed at all polling stations. They comprise of not less than 14 officers at each and every polling station to ensure steadfast and robust security coverage. Further to this, there are specialized teams that have been deployed to give an overall and unbreachable security ring as follows. I have deployed 4 platoons of the General Service Unit officers. I have deployed 4 platoons of anti-stock theft unit officers. I've also deployed 4 water cannons. Sufficient deployment from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, whose mandate shall focus on intelligence gathering, investigations, arrest, and prosecution of any party or individuals involved in any electoral malpractice.
Because if Rigathi were to lose in this by-election, he's actually going to be sent to the political oblivion. In this video, I want to reveal to you guys why the voters in Ol Kalou will determine how Mount Kenya will vote in 2027. Before you do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think William Ruto and the government are doing everything during this by-election? Because I've even seen vehicles with altered number plates in Ol Kalou. We've seen the police themselves have said that they are deploying over 1,000 police officers to man this election. Rigathi Gachagua has claimed that the government is planning to disrupt power supply to enable them win in that by-election. Why do you think the stakes are so high in this by-election? Number one, there is the element of Mount Kenya and 2027 general election. William Ruto is losing the mountain and Rigathi Gachagua is gaining the mountain. In the last election, William Ruto's votes, out of the 100%, 47% of them came from Mount Kenya, which means without Mount Kenya, there was no way William Ruto would have won. But William Ruto is currently facing serious political headache. He had hoped to consolidate the ODM strong. Then from nowhere, Edwin Sifuna is emerging. So which means Sifuna will take away some portion of Raila Odinga's support base, and William Ruto is also losing the mountain. So which means William Ruto is trying so hard not to lose the entire Mount Kenya. If they will win, if the UD candidate will be declared, that's going to mark the end of Rigathi Gachagua. That's exactly what they are trying to do. Mount Kenya and 2027. Number two, we are talking of the issue of the running mate. You see, there's the question of who should be William Ruto's running mate in 2027. There is Kindiki. There is, okay, let me put it, ODM is putting some demands to that position. So how Mount Kenya will vote tomorrow is going to determine whether Ruto will retain Kindiki. He has two options here. If, for example, the mountain were to, for example, if Ol Kalou were to vote for DCP, the signal to Ruto is that he's going to lose Mount Kenya. Then what can he do? He can say, okay, we are going to lose Mount Kenya. Then now let me split Mount Kenya. Let me have Mount Kenya East, where I won in Mbere, and then leave Mount Kenya West with Rigathi Gachagua. The other thing he can say that because I've lost Mount Kenya, let me look for a running mate elsewhere. So it means Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki's position is actually at stake. That's how I am looking at it. And Kindiki should be worried. Should be worried. Number three, there is also the element or the ODM factor in 2027. You see, ODM, you see, William Ruto is banking on ODM. But there's a problem in ODM. And ODM are also waiting for William Ruto. And they're waiting for this by-election. For William Ruto, if Mount Kenya were to dump him, then it means in the next election or during the next campaign, he's not going to use resources and he's not going to put much effort in the mountain. Instead, he's going to try and direct those resources to ODM strongholds. Let me make it simple for you to understand. William Ruto has really pumped a lot of money in Ol Kalou. He has done everything. In fact, Ol Kalou is the most expensive. We even saw mattresses being distributed. So which means if William Ruto and the UDA cannot convince the people of Ol Kalou to vote for their candidate, he's going to forget about them. And then he's now going to shift his focus from the mountain now to try and win other places. The truth is, if William Ruto were to get around 30-40% of the votes in Ol Kalou, he's going to see some hope. And that's a big problem for ODM party. And I know wherever ODM party are, they're only making a prayer that Rigathi Gachagua should actually humiliate William Ruto in Ol Kalou, so that William Ruto can now then refocus his energy in ODM stronghold. Number four, I think there is also the 2027 test run. William Ruto is going to test his strategy in Ol Kalou. What do I mean? William Ruto spent a lot of money. So that's a strategy. Can the power of money be used to influence people? If the results in Ol Kalou will prove that indeed they voted for UDA, William Ruto is going to believe that money can actually buy support. And therefore, he's going to try to use money moving forward. Number two, if they were trying to influence IBC to facilitate for them some schemes there, and it succeeds, then it means in the next general election, he's going to use the same script. Let's say Rigathi Gachagua had a strategy or wanted to test whether his supporters can thwart any rigging schemes. He will have that opportunity tomorrow. Because if, for example, the government will attempt to rig and Rigathi Gachagua's team fail to protect, then William Ruto shall have succeeded in his test run. So that's something which we must also figure out. And importantly, there is also the element of campaign resources. Let me ask you, Ol Kalou is just one constituency, and the amount of resources the government pumped there are just enormous. What do you think will happen tomorrow if we wake up and Rigathi humiliates William Ruto in Ol Kalou? It's simply going to mean that moving forward, the government will not invest a lot of their resources in the opposition strongholds. They shall have known that even if you do what, the people have decided those sides. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to think, but let us wait for tomorrow. As the elections will be going on, we expect them to be peaceful. And personally, if you are to ask me, I know the DCP guy has an advantage, but you can't rule out the possibility of state machinery. So let us wait to see how Mshina Nyaga and Kamau Ngotho Douglas will perform tomorrow. Until next time, this is Makiny. Bye-bye.